Are we back? Okay, cross forward if your parents have talked to you about sex. Step forward, guys, wait to step. If your parents have sat you down and they say, you know what, Cedric, you're now 18. You're starting to have sweat dreams. This is what it means. You know what, Shamira? Your periods have come. This is what it means. If they've talked to you, your parents, your guardian, whoever stands in for a parent, I don't mean your mom and dad. It could be that organization where you've lived. If they've told you about sex, and they've cautioned you maybe about safe sex or whatever they've told you about, but openly, not saying, "Have you been to BB?" That's different. That's not the talk. Like, those things are bad. Those things are for adults. Okay. So who would like to share? I don't want to pounce you up to share. Here? 1 minute, and then Isaac, and then the same.
Like, when I approached 18, my dad sat me down and told me everything. He said, you are a grown-up man, so you should learn how to respect a couple. Or when you have a girlfriend, in case you have, protect yourself. Always do like this in order to be a perfect boy.
What other thing did he say you do to be a perfect boy, apart from safe sex?
Then he told me, as I'm looking forward, I should look, or I should see the person I'm associating with, because the world is changing and there are rising diseases. So I should also be keen about that. Okay, so that dad talked to him about sex, but listen, it was 1, about safe sex, and 2, about disease. Thank you for sharing. Here. What did they say and who talked to you?
When I was in senior 1, that's when I started my periods. And when I was going back, I was going to boarding school, and my mother told me, now if you sleep with a man, you're going to get pregnant.
Was it in like a scary way? Was it in like a fun way? Was it in a conscious way? What did it instill in you? Was it fear or?
As if she was scared of something, the fact that I was leaving her for the first time. So it is just like she said it. It is not like it. I don't think she planned it, because we were even like on the roadside going to school. She just said it on my way to school. Like, she didn't sit me down. Like, she said it like that.
Okay, so for Rina, it was not even planned. It just happened to her while they were going to school. And it was most likely out of fear, like sex is, don't do it now, you're old. If you have sex, this and this is going to happen. Any last experience here?
For me, my mom told me that when I
Cedric, don't say a word.
When I first had my first period, my mom told me that now you are a woman, and she could like go for some burial. She could come back and tell me that, do you know that person who died? Yes. She had sex before some age or before marriage. She could go for even a ceremony. She could come back and tell me, I'm from the burial. Do you remember what I told you about?
Oh,
yes.
Lord.
So if you have it, you will die. And when I first had it, I didn't die. So my mom lied to me.
Have we heard what you said?
She could keep me in fear.
You can imagine the talk that this lady had with her mother about sex was that sex is very... She's telling us that the first time she heard about sex, the conversation with the mother, the conversation was that every time the mother went out of the house, whether for a ceremony, she'd come back and say, you see, I'm from a burial. This person had sex, now they've died. That was the conversation. And in a way, the mother was trying to protect, in the way that she knew. And then she ended by saying, then, now I had it and I didn't die.
I waited.
You waited to die?
Yes, but first day, second day, third day, I said,
Did you make a will before you went into the act? Okay. So for the rest of us here, have we had any talk about sex before with anyone? Who has never had a talk about sex? Like, guys, it's a serious question. A genuine talk. Like someone sits you down. I don't know if it's a counselor, if it's a peer educator, if it's a health worker, and says, you know what? This is the detail. This is the in and out. Who of us here has had that detail? So if you've had it, tell us, who did you have it from? So CJ's first talk of sex and everything surrounding it was as a peer educator through the training. Yes, Vianney, you're the last.
When I was still doing my bachelor's, every semester reporting, Dad would, that last phone call to go back to campus, to hostel, be like, use a condom. That was the last word you acknowledged.
That was the talk. My G, use a condom. Eh? Like I'm sending you off, use a condom. And they had things like be a man. Eh?
No, maybe he thought someone at campus, it's inevitable for some of these things to happen. Maybe.
Okay, thank you. And one of the things I want us to, we're going to expound it later, but it is how sex has been packaged for us. That it has disease, and it has fear. I mean, fear of death, that story, yeah? We need to expound it and write about it. Like, I'm coming from a barrier, they've had sex and they've died. That is the talk that our parents have had. And if you ask your parents, has anyone ever talked to you about these things? Do you think our parents have been talked to about these things? Imagine you as a parent now. You from this side who has not been taught nothing. What are you going to tell your child? You're also suffering. Ogenda chibatsa. Like ogenda gata, you're probably going to say, you're learning each and everything from here. So someone who has not come to the academy, chances are high they're also going to tell their child, if you have it, you die. If you have it, your breasts increase. Things like that, your penis shrinks. The most weird of things, so that you don't get to have it. But we're going to talk about sex in detail because it's more. It has components like consent. It has components like disease. Yes, they talked about them. Pleasure, rights, responsibilities. It has a lot of components. Okay, let's go back to this side.
You really missed the other side.
Step forward if you can choose your desired partner. Wait to move. If you, as a person, you can look at one Willis and you're like, I like Willis, and you walk up to him and you're like, you know what? Truth of the matter is, this is how I feel about this, and this is how I want it to go. So if you can choose your desired partner, that you've seen girls seated there in the back, you're like, Miracle is the girl that I want, and you're like, I don't care. Sit here, danger. You go there and you say, you know what, Miracle? Step forward if you can choose your desired partner. Don't lie that all men, guys. Don't lie that all men. Why are you mobilizing? Question? Hey. 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 I said step forward if you can choose. If you can walk to a desired partner and choose them to be your partner. Let's start with one. Willis, it's not about a group of people. I'm asking it as an individual question. Because we're going to ask and expound the experiences, those that you've chosen. Yeah? So I'm going to ask, where's your tag? Why is it hidden? It beats the purpose if you hide it. So Trenoli. Okay, so Trenoli. Is there a woman that you've ever desired and you've not gotten? Is it true that every woman you've, and I don't mean desired in terms of having sexual intercourse. I mean desired because you want to date them perhaps. Let's use dating. Is every woman you've wanted to date, have you dated?
Yeah.
And how was that experience like? You have to step a bit here. We're not intimidating.
Yeah. It was okay. It was normal.
So you saw, no, just take us through the process. You saw a girl and
I approached, told her my stuff, then
what stuff?
I won't go into detail, but yeah, stuff.
Stuff around your child stuff?
No, like I told her whatever I wanted to tell her,
Huh?
she accepted.
You told her around child Wonder Girl stuff?
I told her what I wanted to tell her, like what I admired about her.
And then she came around.
Yeah,
Has-
with time.
Has there been a woman that you've approached and they've said, you know what, I respect you, I see your hustle, but I'm not into it?
Nah.
No. Guys, it is his experience. Move it to Uganda. Tell us.
Yes.
Has there a woman that has rejected you in the past before? And I know when I say reject, men feel like I've bruised their ego. It's not about an ego. I'm just asking you as a human being.
Like me, I take my time and I look at somebody. If I have instead of getting you, I think about everything through again and again. So I first see your traits. So I haven't been rejected yet.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm going to come to you and you tell us. But also I want to ask another question. Is it about how you do it? Is there any balance that goes to the other party that allows you or doesn't allow you? According to what Semuju says, like I prepare my things, I come to you. Is it always about how prepared the other person is? No. Okay, let's just think about it. It is a rhetoric question, but dear, rhetoric. So you're not supposed to answer. Tell us, how has it been for you?
For me, I've always believed I don't judge a book by its cover. So I first observe, okay, like in case I appreciate a girl, I take time, understand her values, then if it suits me, then I'm fine. Okay, yeah. If it's either way, because it can't be, it can't be like single, like one-sided.
Okay, it can't be one-sided.
Thank you. Personally, I trust the flow state. If it flows, it flows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You don't have to work hard for someone to respect you or to love you. Some things just come naturally. So some people don't plan to fall in love, but it just happens. You guys just connect. And yeah.
Sometimes you just connect. It's not even planned.
Yeah, connecting.
In my Form 1, I was in a single school, that is Mariam High. And then they used to tell us, for a girl, you should be noticed, not seen. Like, I have that pride in me, I have to be noticed.
Did we hear that? That for a girl, you should be noticed and not seen. What's the difference? Like, if you're noticed, guys go like, and if you're seen, they go like,
you have that.
Kwetega.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, that's very interesting. Just for the interest of time, I'm going to just try to wrap it up. But this side, one of the assumptions that come with choosing a partner, and I've seen it, Semuju, if you allow me, I'll use your example. Is that okay? The thing from what Semuju has mentioned is that for men, it's always, and I think some men, maybe it's different. We shall ask these ones here. But most of them think like Semuju. They're like, for me, I have my game. I go, I prepare myself, I plan my way, and then I come for you. You can't reject me. Then when you're perfectly put, and I'm like, you're not my perfect. But let's listen to these men here. Kati, where you sitting? Then you go. There is a guy I'm looking for whom I can't find. Is it you that now you look different? A guy. Yesterday he was in the line, in the back line, wearing like those free shirts with shades. Where? Okay, it's okay. I've gotten the second one to that. Do share with them. What has the experience been with this partner?
I'm not so good with that.
Was it?
I'm not so good with that.
You're not good with that?
Yeah.
Why do you think you're not good with that? Have you approached anyone to be in a relationship? Has anyone approached you?
Yes.
Someone has approached you?
Yes.
Did you have a choice to say like no or yes?
Yeah, I had my choice.
You had your choice?
Yeah.
And you feel like you stood for your choice?
Yeah. He said no.
So you are this side which says you're not able to choose the desired partner.
Exactly.
Is there a specific reason why you can't?
Yeah.
That you would like to feel comfortable sharing? Which one?
No.
You don't know? Come on, Trevor. Okay, let's go back to this side. Quickly, step this side if you have discussed consent with your partner. Let me first talk about. Step forward if you have discussed consent with your partner. If you don't know the word consent, then probably you haven't discussed it, yeah? So step forward if you have had a lengthy conversation on consent, withdrawal of consent, what it means, how it affects you with your partner. You might know the meaning in Uganda. Let's pretend that you know it in English. Here, step forward. Step forward. Name Momo. Momo, you'd not be listening. All the time, Momo. Step forward if you've had a lengthy discussion on consent with your partner. You've sat and you've discussed consent, the ins and outs of consent. Also, if you don't know consent, you can also stay that side. We shall know that some of us maybe have, but they don't know. Okay, so you'll tell us what is it that you discussed. After you, Rina, Momo.
Yeah, for me, we sat down and talked about when we should start having kids, when we should, about our vision, what we want to do as in work, supporting each other in whatever we do.
Rina, go back this side. You give Momo.
I don't know.
That's a bit too wide. I think you know that too widely.
Consent. Okay, we talked about if we were ready to have sex with each other, if we are going to use protection, if we are going to first have to test for AIDS before having sex.
And how did your partner feel? Who brought up the discussion?
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
That's a good man. Give Kule. How was yours? Isaac, have you discussed consent with your partner? I mean, which side are you? Okay. We shall come to you. No, you and then Isaac.
Okay, mine is not different from Momo's. It's like we had a consent between me and my partner for the first time we had sex.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's take our seats. And then we discuss this further. Let's... You have a few minutes to settle in. Please settle in quickly. Are we settled in? Sorry we've disorganized the class. Now some of the people are packed somewhere, some are not. But we'll manage, yeah? I've been taking us through a lot of questions that speak to what sexuality is. Now, sexuality is broad. And if I'm to define it, it has a simple definition. Someone mentioned it, but I don't know their name. They mentioned it yesterday. No, they mentioned it in Ibra's session. But let's first do randomly. What do we think sexuality is? What we're doing here was part of it. But what do we think it is? Where's Mary? Mary has not come in today. There's so many faces missing. Do you guys know that we know you by face and name? So we can realize like someone is not here today. Okay, now that we don't have Mary, where is Tamel? I've seen him somewhere. In a black tie, he looks very smart today. Where has he gone? Mulaba. Agambachi. Olikiria. Kali. Tusanyisa okulaba. Funa wotula. What do we think sexuality is? There is Arthur and Asa. Where is Arthur? Where? Yes. Where's the other microphone? Have it moving so that we don't distract the hub people. You think sexuality is?
I think sexuality is about the feelings, the thoughts, how you feel about sex or other people.
How you feel about what?
Sex.
That last part spoiled it. Say it again. The
Feelings,
the
thoughts about sex or attraction towards other people.
About sex or attraction? Okay, let's just take the other two. Thank you, Arthur. That was a good try. Now, Asa. I don't know how to articulate your name, but... Honey? Madam Mobile. Koleza. Okay?
Thank you, madam. I'm Asa. Sexuality, I think it is the same as
You say that same.
It is the feelings according to the thoughts with someone.
Ne, Asa, okopye nnyo. You can't copy both his words. You change a bit. Pass it to your neighbor. You're the neighbor. You're the neighbor when Songa.
I think sexuality is how you relate, like physically, emotionally with someone.
Say it again, how you relate physically and emotionally.
Yeah, like what Arthur said, feelings, thoughts.
Is yours also connected to sex or just generally?
Sex. That's why I said physical.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. There is an answer there, yeah?
I think sexuality is a state where you find other people physically, emotionally attractive.
Okay, lastly, there's a gentleman here, and then we can do from this side. But counselor, eh? Prepare your answers here, because you're quiet.
I think sexuality has to do with someone's understanding and knowledge about sex.
Knowledge about sex?
And understanding, yeah.
And understanding. Here, there's a hand here.
I think sexuality is about feelings, behavior, thoughts about someone.
Wow, say that again. Remind us your name.
Rita.
Rita.
Sexuality is about feelings, behavior, thoughts, and attraction about someone.
Okay, so yours is about someone, not necessarily sex. Next.
I think sexuality is about someone's feelings, thoughts, attractions, and behaviors towards other people.
Towards other people? Yes?
For me, I think sexuality is a person's sexual orientation or preferences, which are physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Alessemos. sexual orientation. Lastly, there. Okay, then we have Nahia and that's another Arthur. Why do I think you're also Arthur? We'll pick you.
I think sexuality is about gender
Okay?
because there are females who think they're males and there are males who think they're females. There are males who think they're males and there are females who think they're females.
So gender,
Does
you're
that
adding
make
in
sense?
gender identity.
Yes.
We have Nahia and we have him.
I share the same answer. It is the identity of the gender.
Okay, gender identity. Lastly,
I think sexuality is knowing about the advantages and disadvantages of sex.
to know about the advantages and disadvantages. Honorables, any answer here? Don't say it is already there.
Their feelings. Their feelings about someone.
Their feelings about somebody. Their
I don't know. I'm not defining it, but I'm trying to add on something. I think sexuality is dynamic.
You think it's very dynamic?
Yeah, it changes with time.
Okay, Wills, I'm going to ask you later. Sexuality. I'm going to come to you. I just want you to know I've seen that your hand was up. There is an example that we usually have, and maybe we can have it very, very quickly. We've had it in every class. You weren't here. But I don't know if it's going to work in this particular. Ahasemu Uganda, you come. You come. You come. Where is John? Yeah, I was looking for you. Ngogaddewo nga bukyali. So John, him. Yeah, then him, and lastly, and wali tukulabeko. Could you maybe extend past where CJ is so that you're in the same line and we can observe you? Let's add spice into your line. And maybe we add Hassan. Hassan, you join us. I think you'd be a good add. Hassan, you know what they say about revenge? So let's look at these gentlemen. Forget what you know about them. I know most of you already know them. Forget what you know about them. For just 1 minute, I'm going to ask a few questions and you just answer randomly. One side and one side. Who of these people is the most, who did
Ladies and gentlemen, I request that you all rise as the procession comes in.